The Golden State Warriors are no strangers to complex negotiations. But what's happening right now with Jonathan Kuminga is turning into one of the trickiest storylines of the offseason. This isn't just about a talented young forward. This is about leverage, this is about value, and above all, this is about the Warriors' long-term plan to remain contenders while keeping their future bright. For fans watching closely, there's one thing that's become crystal clear. The Warriors are not going to give up Kuminga easily, especially not for a return that doesn't meet their standards. And when you hear that they've already turned down DeMar DeRozan and Devin Carter in potential trade packages, it speaks volumes about the direction this franchise is heading. Let's set the scene. Jonathan Kuminga wants to take the next step in his career. He's made it clear that he sees himself as a future all-star, and with that comes the desire for a bigger role and a bigger payday. Word around the league is that Kuminga is eyeing a deal worth around $30 million per season. But here's the catch. No team has actually made him an offer. That's right, not a single team has stepped up with a contract that matches his ambition. And because Kuminga is a restricted free agent, the Warriors hold all the cards. They have the right to match any deal he might get. In other words, they control the situation completely. One of the few teams showing interest is the Sacramento Kings. On paper, it might make sense. The Kings are trying to take that next leap in the West, and a dynamic athlete like Kuminga could be a great fit alongside De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis. But here's the twist. The Warriors have reportedly refused to do business with Sacramento. They've drawn a line in the sand. Why? Because the Kings' idea of a fair return doesn't come close to what the Warriors believe Kuminga is worth. Sacramento was apparently willing to move DeMar DeRozan, whom they recently acquired, or rookie guard Devin Carter as part of a potential sign-and-trade. But Golden State wasn't having it. Sam Amick of The Athletic dropped the bombshell recently on the Warriors Plus Minus podcast. My understanding is the Warriors weren't interested in Carter or DeRozan. And just like that, the Warriors shut down a trade path that some thought could be inevitable. Now, let's talk about that a little more. DeRozan, while still effective, is 35 years old and doesn't fit the Warriors' timeline if they're thinking long-term. This isn't the kind of move you make if you're trying to build around a younger core, especially when guys like Brandon Podziemski and Trayce Jackson-Davis are developing quickly. As for Devin Carter, while talented, he's unproven. The Warriors aren't in the business of gambling with one of their most promising assets. And there's also another layer here that fans shouldn't overlook. Sacramento doesn't seem willing to pay Kuminga the $30 million per year he's asking for either. That means even if a trade was on the table, the deal might fall apart during contract negotiations. So where does that leave things? Right now, all signs point to Golden State re-signing Kuminga and keeping him around until the trade deadline next February. They're playing the long game, and that's a smart move. Why rush into a bad trade when you can wait, evaluate your options, and strike when the market shifts in your favor? The front office clearly sees value in Kuminga, either as a future star or as a high-level asset in a blockbuster deal down the road. But what they won't do is make a panic move just to satisfy external pressure. They're setting the tone for how they operate moving forward. And let's be honest, that's exactly what Warriors fans should want. A front office that holds the line, stands by its convictions, and refuses to be taken advantage of. Kuminga might not get what he wants right now, but Golden State is making sure they protect their own interests. That's how you build a sustainable contender in today's NBA. So, Warriors Nation, we want to hear from you. Do you agree with the team's decision to reject DeRozan and Carter? Should the front office hold on to Kuminga a little longer, or try to cash in now? Drop your thoughts in the comments. This is one of the most polarizing topics of the summer, and your voice matters.
When the Golden State Warriors acquired DeAnthony Melton, it was a low-risk, high-reward move that quietly carried more weight than many realized. And now, after an ACL injury, a brief detour with the Brooklyn Nets, and a wave of uncertainty, the Warriors may be preparing to welcome him back. The timing couldn't be better. Let's not forget how Melton fit into this roster when he first arrived in San Francisco. Known for his tenacity on defense, court awareness, and ability to make the right play, Melton provided something the Warriors had been missing since their bench started thinning out: consistency and energy. Despite only appearing in 6 games before suffering a partially torn ACL, Melton's impact was noticeable. He averaged 10.3 points, 3.3 rebounds, 2.8 assists, and 1.2 steals per game. And he did all that in just over 20 minutes per night. That kind of production, paired with relentless effort on defense, made Melton a favorite among the coaching staff and players, especially Draymond Green. When Melton was traded to the Brooklyn Nets, Draymond didn't hold back. He wasn't just praising Melton's skill set, he was reflecting on what his presence meant to the locker room. What he was bringing to this team was great, so we'll miss that. But what we'll miss more is just his presence around, his attitude, his demeanor every single day. Always smiling, never upset about anything, just always bringing great vibes. Coming from a vocal leader like Draymond, that speaks volumes. Melton wasn't just a solid contributor, he was a culture fit. And that's why the news that the Warriors are closing in on re-signing him has fans and players buzzing again. It's more than just another player acquisition. It's a potential turning point. According to reports from Brian Windhorst, Golden State is actively working on bringing back both Melton and veteran center Al Horford. But Melton might end up being the most important piece. After undergoing successful surgery back in November, the 27-year-old guard is expected to make a full recovery. The Warriors are clearly betting that he'll be ready to pick up where he left off, and maybe even more. Steve Kerr is reportedly in full support of the move. After all, he was one of the key advocates behind bringing Melton to the team in the first place. Kerr values intelligent, unselfish players who defend hard and play within the system. All boxes Melton checks off. And let's not forget the strategic importance of this signing. With Chris Paul gone and Klay Thompson now wearing a Dallas Mavericks jersey, the Warriors' guard rotation is in transition. The front office isn't just looking to fill minutes, they're looking for identity. Melton, if healthy, can provide a bridge between the old guard and the next wave. He's not just a rotation guy, he's someone who could stabilize the backcourt and anchor the second unit. Injuries derailed what could have been a breakout year for him with the Warriors, but sometimes setbacks pave the way for a greater comeback. Melton knows this is a second chance, not just to prove he belongs in Golden State, but to become a permanent fixture in a team that still believes in competing at the highest level. And let's be honest, Warriors fans love a comeback story. We've seen this team bounce back time and time again. Whether it was Steph Curry recovering from injuries early in his career, Klay's long-awaited return, or Draymond's relentless fire after every doubt cast his way, resilience is in this team's DNA. Melton fits right in with that tradition. As we wait for the official word on Melton's return, all eyes turn to how this move, paired with whatever happens next with Jonathan Kuminga, shapes the future of this team. Could this be the piece that unlocked the bench again? Could Melton step up and become a pivotal part of the rotation behind Curry? We'll know soon enough. But one thing's clear. If DeAnthony Melton is healthy, engaged, and wearing a Warriors jersey next season, Golden State will have made one of the smartest offseason moves in the NBA. So what do you think, Dub Nation? Will Melton's return make a difference? Is this a quiet win in the middle of a chaotic offseason? Let us know in the comments. And don't hold back. Should the Warriors give Melton a multi-year deal? Is he the kind of glue guy we've been missing? We want to hear your take. Stay locked in, because in Chapter 3, we'll break down how Al Horford's veteran presence could be the final puzzle piece to push the Warriors back into true title contention.
If there's one thing that championship teams have always relied on, especially teams led by Stephen Curry, it's experience. Not just playoff experience, but the kind that translates into composure, leadership, and presence when everything is on the line. And that's exactly why the Golden State Warriors are reportedly pushing hard to land Al Horford this offseason. At 38 years old, Horford is no longer the double-double machine he was in Atlanta or the all-star centerpiece he was in Boston. But what he brings now might be even more valuable: stability, basketball IQ, and an elite understanding of what it takes to win and to help others win. After spending 5 seasons anchoring Boston's front court and mentoring players like Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, Horford proved he still has plenty left in the tank. Even this past season, in the Celtics' deep playoff run and eventual championship, Horford was a crucial part of the rotation. He played through injuries, defended top-tier big men, knocked down threes, and provided essential floor spacing. And when Kristaps Porzingis was unavailable, Horford stepped in without hesitation, showing poise and efficiency that can only come from years of playoff battles.
Now imagine him doing that in a Golden State Warriors jersey. According to reports from both The Athletic and ESPN's front office insiders, Golden State views Horford not as a long-term piece, but as a short-term leader, a final push toward another championship while the Curry window remains open. There's belief within the organization that Horford's role could mirror what Andre Iguodala brought in the 2022 title run: veteran savvy, defensive versatility, and a voice in the locker room that young players listen to. And this isn't just speculation. Steve Kerr has long been a fan of Horford's game. Back in 2022, when asked about Boston's core during the NBA Finals, Kerr praised Horford's ability to defend, stretch the floor, and do all the little things that help teams win. That kind of praise from a coach like Kerr isn't thrown around lightly. It means the Warriors see Horford as a fit, both culturally and tactically. Pairing Horford with Draymond Green in the front court might not be flashy, but it would be deadly smart. Both players are elite communicators on defense. Both can switch, pass, and space the floor. Horford shot over 41% from deep this past season. You read that right. In limited minutes, he still provided elite perimeter shooting, and in Golden State's motion-heavy offense, that matters more than ever. With Kevon Looney's future uncertain and questions swirling about the Warriors' backup bigs, Horford could instantly become the most reliable veteran big man off the bench, or even a spot starter if needed. And let's not underestimate the impact this kind of move has in the locker room. Young guys like Trayce Jackson-Davis and Jonathan Kuminga can only benefit from having someone like Horford around on a daily basis. This is mentorship at the highest level. What about the cost? Horford is still under contract with Boston, but rumors suggest that the Celtics could be willing to move him in a deal that brings them draft capital or young athletic wings. The Warriors have the pieces, including Moses Moody, future picks, or even Lonzo Ball's expiring contract, to make something happen. And if Horford becomes a buyout candidate, Golden State would be near the top of his list. From a strategic standpoint, adding Horford makes even more sense when you look at the Western Conference landscape. The Nuggets are still big and bruising. The Timberwolves have size. Even the Lakers, despite their flaws, will always be a physical matchup. Golden State needs more size, more toughness, but they also need smart size. Horford provides exactly that. But what makes this even more intriguing is what Horford reportedly said in private conversations during the Celtics championship parade. According to league sources, Horford has hinted at wanting one last challenge before retirement, ideally in the West, with a team that already knows how to win. That description fits the Warriors to a T. This isn't about collecting washed-up names. This is about identifying the kind of player who still moves the needle. Al Horford isn't just a respected vet. He's a floor general who can still knock down shots, switch onto guards, and anchor defensive sets when needed. That's a luxury in today's NBA. And let's not ignore the symbolic weight of it all. If Horford, a lifelong Eastern Conference Warrior, comes to Golden State in pursuit of one last ring, it would signal something powerful: that the Warriors aren't done. That this franchise, as long as Curry is here, will fight until the final buzzer. That experience, leadership, and basketball IQ still matter in a league increasingly obsessed with youth and potential. Warriors fans, we want to hear from you. Would Al Horford be a smart move? Do you think he still has what it takes to contribute to a title run alongside Steph, Draymond, and Wiggins? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let us know, should the Warriors pull the trigger and make Horford part of the family? Because this could be the kind of move that defines the end of an era or extends it just long enough for one more parade in the Bay.